I'm Washe Sananda. Thank you for joining me. So I'm back. I don't know if you follow my videos or not, but if you do, you might have noticed that I've been missing for a couple of weeks. I haven't been doing videos on my normal Tuesdays. And the reason is because, well, many things actually. One is that I just moved and I just today got set up in my new space, my new office. So there's always a process that goes along with moving. It's the holiday season, and there are a lot of things going on to keep up with that. I am also in a new relationship, nurturing that relationship. And then, along with parenting and the normal things in work life, that just kind of got out of hand for me. And, sometimes we have to let something go. My weekly videos was the thing that I let go of for a couple of weeks, but I'm happy to say I'm back. I'm all set up. I'm ready to go just in time for the holidays. And I know things can get a little hairy during the holidays. So I really want to be here to support you. So, a couple of things that I want to share with you that I have coming up. First of all, this Saturday, December 10th, I have an appearance on Portal to Ascension. It is the Jumping Timelines, Quantum Timeline Jumping Show. And I'm really excited to be a part of that. I will be doing a 70-minute spot starting at 3:25 p.m. on Saturday at Eastern Time. And that will be about jumping timelines. And that's a topic that is near and dear to my heart. So I'm excited that I get to be a part of that. If you're not on my email list, go ahead and get on it. You can find the join link in the show notes. You can also just go to Portal to Ascension on YouTube and watch it from there. I think there's an opportunity to join the Zoom room and ask questions, though. So if you want to be a part of that Zoom room and get more personal attention and be in the room, then get on my email list and you can get that. Secondly, I have an Alchemy meditation coming up. That is with the Alchemy photon light spheres. And oh my gosh, these have been a godsend for me in my move, really in all areas of life. But throughout this move, just to be able to check in, settle in, tune in with that energy, clear the energy of my new house has been so helpful. That's coming up on Tuesday, the 13th at noon Eastern Time. I will also be sending out an email with the Zoom link for that. So be sure to tune in and join me on Tuesday, the 13th. I will post the replay to that on my YouTube channel when we're finished. But if you want to be in the room and be a part of that in real time, in live time, I will be sending out the link and you can join us that way. I like to make these videos relevant to what I'm experiencing in my life. I feel like oftentimes what I'm experiencing, that's not pretty. Okay. I feel like what I'm experiencing is oftentimes the same as what the collective is experiencing, or that there are a lot of people in the collective having similar experiences to what's happening in my life. Something I deal with that maybe you can relate to is this pressure to produce and perform. And by produce and perform, I mean, I get up in the morning and I need to be productive. By the end of the day, I need to feel like I accomplished what I set out to accomplish that day. And what I mean is not performing in an inauthentic way, but authentically performing in a way that I really like to feel like I've accomplished something. I really like to feel like I've produced and created and I'm inspired and I at the end of the day I like to go to bed feeling tired because I did such a good job in producing what I wanted to create. And the problem with that and where I get out of balance with that is that I put pressure on myself to get more done than I'm usually able to do, to create more, to produce more. And it becomes this pressure and it becomes really intense. And in nurturing a new relationship, that dynamic is not always effective. what happens generally is that I project that pressure onto my partner, and then he feels it, and then he feels this kind of push away, whether intentionally or unintentionally, it happens. So working out these dynamics has been really interesting. And yeah, there have been some butting of heads, some sparks have been flying, but also there's so much love and nurturing and generosity and understanding ultimately. For me, it's really been this realization of, okay, if I choose to be in a partnership, if I choose to be in a relationship, I get to be responsible for the pressure that I'm putting out there. I get to be responsible for when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I get to work through that. And I get to, here's the big one, and I know a lot of you can relate to this, I get to ask for help. So there are these times when I feel like there's so much to do, right? And especially in a moving process and like all the other things that I mentioned going on, there's so much to do that I kind of become lost in the to-do list, and I will want to do more than I'm capable of, and I will, there just is sometimes more than we're capable of doing in a day. And so I have a hard time asking for help, but I have this beautiful, wonderful partner here saying, what can I do? How can I help you? And if I go into, oh, nothing, I'm fine. And really, I'm thinking, well, gosh, just pick something. There are 10 million things to pick from. That doesn't help because he doesn't know what I need and what I want done right now. Maybe he'll go do something that I would rather do next week or in 2 months, but there are 12 things on my plate that I need to have finished today. And so I get to get better at saying, hey, I really need help with this. Is it possible for, for you to help me? And when I do that, guess what? He's like, yeah, sure, of course, I'll help you. So what I found is not to have expectations that that other person knows what I'm thinking or what I need done, and not to be afraid to ask for help. And if it's not a good time, then that's okay too. Maybe we can get that help in half an hour, or later in the day. This has just been like an interesting learning process, and this experience of really kind of getting to get real with myself about what I'm capable of accomplishing, allowing some of the things that I normally have on my to-do list to go, like the videos, giving myself grace when I need it, and then bringing the balance of self-nurturing back. And if you watch my videos, I get into that and I talk about that a lot. It's so important. We have to take time for ourselves, and we have to make that space to nurture ourselves. And if we don't, we really get out of balance, especially when we're super busy, or we have something going on like a move, when it's the holiday season, when you have a big project, all of those things can add up. And we've got to take time to get back into balance. For me, that's meditation and going to spiritual events and connecting with other spiritual people in my community, going to their events. And it's so helpful to have community, to have friends, to have places to go where it's an outlet, where we're not just spinning and getting stuck, right? Even if it's nature, maybe you're in a place where you don't have access to community events, but you have nature around you. Get outside. I myself get to take my own advice on that and get outside more. I'm missing it because I've been so busy. And I know a lot of you are up north or in cold states, but still you can get outside, hopefully, and get some time out in the snow, even if it's brief, bundle up and get out there and play and make some snowballs and have some fun times with your family. Maybe you can cross country or snowshoe if you have lots of snow. One of the days before my move, I was really in a difficult space, mentally, physically, feeling really overwhelmed. Kind of hit a bump in my relationship, and I was really feeling um, just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is difficult. I don't know what I'm going to do. Feeling very challenged, right? So I woke up early in the morning, like I often do. The galactics will come and get me and say, "Okay, it's time." And I sat up in bed, this is what I do. I have a headboard. I just sit up right in bed and go into my meditation. And I had this beautiful experience where I didn't know who he was, and right away, this male god figure, blue skinned, long black hair with kind of like the top knot, and just very fit body. And he had sort of like a, I guess, I don't know if I want to call it a sash around his waist, and some objects, some spiritual objects, a sword, and just like a lot of things around him. I could tell that he was a god type, not Shiva and not Krishna. And I'm like, well, who is this? He's got the blue skin, and he put his thumb. He took his thumb. He sat right across from me in my meditation. He had quite a presence, very powerful presence, and I felt very honored to be in his presence. Just being in his presence was a huge upgrade. And he took his thumb and he put it right here on my forehead. And I was instantly taken up, and we went up through the ethers and into a higher experience, a higher realm. And he told me then, I'm Vishnu. So he's Lord Vishnu. I have studied a little bit of the Hindu gods and goddesses, but I'm not deeply, like, I haven't read a whole lot. I only know what I know basically from personal experience, and I've heard some stories. I didn't know anything about Vishnu, nothing at all, really. And so later I went and looked him up and found out some of what he represents. But he came and got me, he took me up, and he, oh my goodness, we had such a beautiful experience. He took me into a circle of galactics, of goddesses and gods and ascended masters and angels and archangels, and all of my guides were there in this giant circle that I was part of. And then they all circled around me, and they started just supporting me energetically. And I entered into my heart space, and I just felt them supporting me, fortifying my field, contributing their energy to me. And it was just this amazing, beautiful, upgrading experience. And in that experience, they showed me that I'm with my divine partner, that this is a right relationship, a divine union, that we get to give each other grace in our experience that we're having as we're entering into this relationship, moving in together right away, crossing a lot of hurdles all at once. It's been really, really intense, but also very powerful and very upgrading, very transformational, challenging, but also so much love at the same time. And, a lot of you are familiar with divine partnerships or twin flame relationships, which I'm going to be getting more into as we continue here, and in future weeks, future videos. But for now, just to say, if you're in a divine partnership, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. It is, you challenge each other because you mirror each other's stuff all the time, and it can be really intense. Nevertheless, there's this foundation of love and support and acceptance that is always there. Thank goodness, right? Or it wouldn't work, because we're mirrors for each other and bumping into each other's stuff all the time and reflecting like, oh, wow, that's going on. That must be in me. But, we don't always want to accept those things in ourselves. We want it to be the other person's thing that they have to go deal with. And so we project that back and forth. And that is a typical twin flame union. So it's beautiful, and it takes a lot of commitment, and it takes a lot of willingness to do the work. If you're not willing to do the work, and this is true in any relationship, right? If you're not willing to be present and do the work, it's probably not going to work. And that means both people, both parties get to really be present for each other and present for themselves and say, yes, I'm going to do this. And so I was shown this in this beautiful circle of gods and goddesses and ascended masters and angels. They showed me, yes, this relationship is right. It's in divine order. You've designed this, both of you, for yourselves. Yes, you're challenging each other. And yes, you're going to make it through this. Just be tenacious, be committed, stay in your heart, be in love, and go through these challenges. Because guess what? If you don't go through them now with this person, if you ever want another partner, you're going to get to do it with the next person or the next, or even just internally with yourself if you're alone. So when these challenges come up, it's time to face them head on. And then the platinum flame comes up. I saw in this experience that I had, the platinum flame, which is something that I take people through in embodied ascension training. We go through, it's one of the divine light technologies, the platinum flame of transformation. I stepped into the center of the flame and I allowed the karma and the pain and the upset and the challenge to just dissipate and transmute. I saw it, I felt it, I experienced it, I allowed it to go. And then when I was able to step out of that flame, I could see, okay, I cleared this for myself. I also cleared it for my lineage, forward and backward. I've cleared it for the collective to some degree so that we can all go through these challenges more easily. And this is also part of the work that you do when you're a galactic shaman or in a divine union. You're going to be not only clearing things for yourself, but also for all of humanity, for the collective. So all of your personal work, all of your personal challenges and your clearings are for a higher purpose. Never overlook the fact that your personal work is serving not just you, but your entire lineage and the collective. The more pathways that we create to clearing and freeing ourselves from old baggage and the old ways of thinking and doing and being, then the more we're able to step into the higher dimensions of light, the higher dimensions of reality. That's timeline shifting, where we're able to step into higher versions of ourselves and then bring the people around us in to those higher light realms as well. And that's truly a gift for ourselves and everyone else when we do that. So I encourage you, as your challenges come up over the holidays, which they just tend to do for most of us, step in. Don't shy away. Don't push them away. Step in, face them head on, be tenacious, go into your, whether you're meditating or breath work or any other kind of spiritual way of dealing with what comes up, but deal with it head on and then allow yourself to transmute those things that come up in whatever ways that you want to do that, in whatever ways work for you to do that. I find that tuning in, going into my heart, tuning in with the galactics, allowing them to show me and reflect to me, and then accepting it. You know, so many people want to run away or not accept their challenges as, you know, they look like failures. They look like, oh wow, I'm really not good at this thing, or I go into my pain body and I get triggered and I get emotional and I get upset and all these things happen. And they think that that's a fail, but it's really just information. Okay, I see what's happening here. I accept that I get triggered, that I get hurt, that I get upset. That's my old pain body getting triggered. Guess what? When that happens, we have an opportunity to clear it, and that's worthy of celebrating. And so do that work. Be tenacious with yourself. Step into the platinum flame. Let it burn up. If you have Alchemy, or if you don't, join me on the next Alchemy meditation, and that helps burn up your karma and burn up your stuck energy. It will help you detox. It helps you release and let go and clear that old stuff that we need to let go of in order to rise to a higher timeline, a higher experience of reality. That's what ascension is. We are stepping up into a higher experience of reality. It's not that some ascension fairy or god or goddess or galactic comes by and taps us on the head with an ascension wand and we are suddenly transformed in a higher realm of light without doing any personal work. That's not how it works. The way that it works is you say, you know what? I want to ascend. I want to move up. I want to experience a higher vibration of light. I want to be a better version of myself. Well, don't expect the Ascension Fairy to come around. What's going to happen is your challenges are going to come around, your difficulties, the things that trigger you, the people that upset you, the life experiences that make you frustrated and angry, overwhelmed and upset. Those are the things that will show up. Those are your Ascension Fairies, because they're showing you the mirror saying, guess what? You have some work to do here. You're feeling angry, upset, whatever the feelings are that you're having that you're classifying as negative or upsetting. They're a gift to you, because you get to look at that and say, oh, look what I do. Look how I get challenged. Wow, this is really painful when I go here, or when I expect something of someone else that they can't provide for me and I get mad at them. That's really about me, right? That's really something that I get to look at and say, okay, I can do this better. And how am I going to do it? I'm going to go within. I'm going to find that part of myself that's in pain, that's in need, and I'm going to work with her. I'm going to work with that part. I'm going to work through that stuff, and I'm going to find those parts, and I'm going to love them. I'm going to love them back to wholeness. I'm going to get the support that I need, and I'm going to talk about it. And I'm going to get people to work with me on it. We actually went to some dear friends that helped us see each other, that we're mirroring each other. When we triggered each other so intensely, we got to work with some friends that helped us see, oh, okay, we're actually triggering each other's pain bodies when we do this thing. Now we can recognize it. We have more tools. Sometimes you get to bring in someone else, even if it's just you going through something. Bring in someone else that will hold you high, that will see that higher vision for you. Maybe it's a coach. If you don't have a coach and you're going through something big, get one, get a coach, get a mentor. You can hire me, but it doesn't have to be me. You can hire there are lots of wonderful coaches and mentors out there that are helpful when our difficulties come up and when we want to move into a higher ascended frequency, but we're having trouble seeing that vision for ourselves. There are people that can help us do that. So find one of those people. Don't go find the person that's going to complain with you and hold you low and say, oh, poor you. I'm so sorry for you. I feel so bad. Oh, that other person's a terrible person. No, 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 no. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go there. Find someone that will hold you high and hold your partner high and say, okay, I see this dynamic is happening. Recognize that it's a dynamic. Here's what you get to do. I'm going to hold high space for you. I'm going to see the highest version of you. And I'm going to help you let go and clear and move into this higher space so that you can see the higher realm and you can help yourself move there. And it's okay to ask for support. It's good to ask for support, especially when you're blocked or challenged or having difficulties. And just know that whatever you're going through, if it's challenging, it is a gift, because you get to move through it and come out of it in a higher, brighter, more evolved way. We don't evolve by ignoring challenges. We don't evolve by bypassing what comes up. We evolve by moving through the challenges in the best way that we can, and then recommit to being and staying in that higher version of ourselves. And when we fall, because we're always going to have those times when we're not high vibe, but when we come back down, to be graceful, to be generous, to be loving with ourselves and say, oh, look what I did. I went backwards there. I'm going to love myself through it. And I'm going to take a step forward again. And sometimes it is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's 2 steps back, and then we get to take 3 steps forward, but it's okay. And I just want you to know, wherever you're at and whatever you're experiencing, it's natural. And especially on this journey of ascension, on the spiritual path, there are tough things that are going to happen, that are going to come up. There's a lot of energy, and the energy can feel intense. There's solar flares, there's the full moon, there is, we've had eclipses, we had all these galactic gateways. And what I want you to know is that you are supported. You are so, so supported and deeply, deeply loved. When I forget that, I'm so grateful that all I have to do is tune into my heart and go into meditation, and I'm met by some beautiful galactic, this time it was Vishnu most recently, came and got me and pulled me up and said, look at the support. Look at this beautiful, loving support that you have. You have everything you need. Now receive it. Receive it. Open your heart and receive it and allow it in and ask for help when you need it and receive that help. Fill yourself up, fill your container, fill your energy field, expand it out, and then bring everyone around you up with you rather than going down and bringing them down, right? We get to do that for each other. My purpose is to be able to do that for you. And I think part of my being able to serve you is for you to know that I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I go into my old stories. I get triggered too. I'm human. I know I'm galactic, but I also know that I'm human. And this life can be messy and it can be challenging and it can be difficult. And I don't always do it perfectly. And that gets to be okay, right? Sometimes I'm going to miss a video, even though I'm committed to doing videos. Sometimes I miss. And I always feel bad when I do. But here I am. I'm coming back. I'm picking up where I left off. And we sometimes get to just give ourselves grace when we are going through the struggle. We get to give ourselves grace, love ourselves through it, and love each other through it. You might have family coming for the holidays. Maybe you're going to some Christmas parties. Maybe it's the work Christmas party or your family's Christmas party. Maybe there are people that you're estranged from, or maybe there are people that you kind of always have a hard time dealing with. And so if that's happening in your life right now, I just want you to feel loved and supported and nurtured, and give yourself grace and give that other person grace. They're probably equally triggered by being with you and maybe nervous or concerned. What am I going to say? What's going to go wrong? How is this going to go? Are we going to get through without arguing? All the stuff that happens when families get together, right? So hold each other high. And if I can give you this one thing to leave you with, before you step into whether it's a party or a dinner or any kind of holiday celebration this season, before you step out of your house, go into your heart, center yourself, and choose love. Choose to love everybody you come in contact with, even if it's that person that you've never gotten along with before. When you choose love before you go outside the door, before you step out, go into your heart space and just choose to be love, what you're going to see around you is a reflection of more love, because the universe always reflects back to you what's within you, and you will receive what you are. Who you're being, who you are being is what you will experience in the world and in your relationships. So I invite you during the rest of December and into the new year to really get clear and present with, I am love and I am projecting love, and I accept myself and others when they're not in love and when they're not being loving. I still accept myself and others when I'm not in that space of knowing myself as loving. And I get to hold that higher place, that higher space, that higher essence to allow others to feel my authenticity, my truth, and my love. And when I step outside the door, or whether it's in my own house or someone else's, I get to project that and recenter myself in that every time I step out of it, in total non-judgment, in total clarity, and just choose again to be loving and to be love and to be centered and to give the highest of what I have to give in each situation. I invite you to be generous this holiday season with yourself and with everyone else, and see what happens. And if you try this, please let me know in the comments. How does it go for you? How'd you do? How'd you do? And I won't judge. If you didn't do well, I won't judge you. I will hold you high. And that's always my intention, to keep you in my highest thoughts. I love you. I cherish you. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I would love it if you would like this video, if it was helpful to you. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe, get the notifications. And if you want to join my mailing list, my email mailing list is in show notes, and you can join that. I would love to have you join me. That's how you know what I have coming up next and what I'm offering. And like I said, I've got multiple different things going on over the next month. So I'd love for you to join me in the Zoom room, get on my mailing list so you can be there in person, and have a happy holiday season.